Tonight, counting down to another Trump threat. The world plunged into more uncertainty as the US president says he will blockade the Strait of Hormuz. A huge boost to metro services, helping to keep Sydney moving as the fuel crisis bites. Another overseas dash for the Prime Minister to shore up supply, but forced to swerve criticism over a new big budget campaign. Back behind bars, a child rapist fronts court as details emerge about his escape from custody. Honouring extraordinary courage. 2 years on, 8 heroes of the Bondi Westfield massacre recognised. And an absolute masterclass, magic from Rory McIlroy sees him become just the 4th man to go back-to-back at Augusta.
This is 10 News Sydney with Sandra Sully.
Good evening. First tonight, the clock is ticking down on a new threat from Donald Trump. The US president declaring his Navy will impose a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, while at the same time launching an extraordinary tirade at the Pope. It's thrown any path to peace into disarray and sent global oil prices skyrocketing yet again.
The Vice President returning from peace talks that were just that, all talk and no peace. Then his President announced a new plan, the way only he can. Effective immediately, the United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. Any Iranian who fires at us or at peaceful vessels will be blown to hell.
I think Iran is in very bad shape. I think they're very desperate.
But US Central Command says it won't block any and all ships, only Iranian ones, which had been key to global oil supplies. Amid the confusion, the President added to it, launching an extraordinary verbal attack on the Pope.
He's a man that doesn't think that we should be toying with a country that wants a nuclear weapon so they can blow up the world. I'm not a fan of Pope Leo.
Days of criticism from the pontiff finally getting to the President.
We don't like a Pope that's going to say that it's okay to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want a Pope that says crime is okay in our cities. I don't like it.
Some call his outbursts a negotiating tool.
I think we should interpret all of these moves as negotiating tactics within a negotiation.
Others say it's a step too far. If he did not use such language and rhetoric, I think the extent of failure would become unacceptable, even to the American public, this Iranian spokesperson said. Further barbs traded by keyboard. Iran's foreign minister, who played a key role in the failed negotiations, saying an agreement was just inches away, and goodwill begets goodwill, enmity begets enmity. Its parliamentary speaker goading America, adding, enjoy the current pump figures. With the so-called blockade, soon you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas. While President Trump's declaration lacked the apocalyptic bluster of last week's threat to end Iranian civilization, he says,
that statement got them to the bargaining table, and they haven't left.
All this instability breeds volatility. The price of oil surged back up above $100 a barrel, while the ASX dropped sharply this morning. The breakdown in peace talks and the blockade threat spooking traders as the ratcheting up of geopolitical tensions weighed heavily again on market sentiment.
We want to see trade resume. This is having a massive global economic impact.
Nobody knows what this escalation means for the fragile ceasefire between the two countries or what the path to peace now is. All we do know is the clock is ticking again. Matt Cannellan, 10 News.
There are new fears tonight that developments in the Middle East will see oil prices spike again here at home. The government is trying to keep the city moving, enticing commuters with increased metro services until June. As the fuel crisis deepens, it is getting prepared, looking more closely at local councils.
Public transport may not be free, but from today it is more frequent.
People being able to catch more regular services on the metro during this shock.
3 trains set aside for the yet-to-be-opened Bankstown Metro extension have hit the tracks between Tallawong and Sydenham as more commuters choose to leave the car at home.
It's pretty crowded, especially in the evenings when you're going back.
It's a good encouragement from the government.
It means services will go from arriving every 4 minutes to 3.5 in the morning and evening peaks, and every 7 minutes on weekends.
That does free up additional space on the roads, and it does free up additional fuel for those who have no other choice but to buy.
There has been a decrease in the number of petrol stations going without. Just 16 were completely dry today, 186 were out of at least one type of fuel, 109 without diesel. But the Treasurer isn't rolling the dice, ordering a survey of council fuel usage and capacity for storage, after local leaders raised issues about potential impacts to key services.
I wouldn't read anything more into it other than the fact that we are simply getting ready for contingencies, as we should, as part of the National Fuel Plan.
Drivers have had a little bit of relief at the pump over the past few days, with the price of petrol hovering just below $2.20. But recent events overseas likely means the cost per litre will start to climb again. The flow-on effects keep coming. Uber following the route taken by its competitor Didi by adding a surcharge of 5 cents per kilometre to trips starting on Wednesday, revenue which will go entirely to the driver.
That is a good sign, but there's 85% of the transport economy that needs to follow suit.
A fight now in the Fair Work Commission to keep the country moving. Tallulah Thompson, 10 News.
The Prime Minister will make his second trip overseas in a week tomorrow to try and secure more fuel from our Asian neighbours. Anthony Albanese has also defended his government's $20 million advertising campaign, encouraging Aussies to save fuel, which has been labelled a waste of taxpayer money.
A pit stop back home as the Prime Minister prepares to return to Asia to shore up even more fuel for Australia.
To maximise Australia's opportunities to secure supply.
Tomorrow, Anthony Albanese will travel to Brunei, a country that accounts for 9% of Australia's diesel imports and 11% of fertiliser-grade urea. Then heading to Malaysia, which is Australia's third largest source of refined fuel, accounting for 10% of our imports, while Australia supplies Malaysia 95% of its natural gas imports. The PM hoping to replicate his deal with Singapore last week, leveraging our gas exports to ensure the ships keep on coming.
We will negotiate with them in good faith.
As the federal government's $20 million advertising campaign encouraging Australians to save fuel here at home is rolled out from today.
Every little bit helps.
Which has copped some criticism.
It's ridiculous. Remove your roof racks.
I'm not entirely sure that this is a good use of taxpayer money.
What we are doing is informing the public, and that is a sensible thing to do.
This fuel crisis is putting immense pressure on next month's federal budget, and savings will need to be found somewhere, with speculation that could see major reforms to the National Disability Insurance Scheme or a new tax placed on gas exports. But the Prime Minister today refused to rule anything in or out.
The government needs to stop floating its ideas in the media, stop sending out its backbenchers and get serious about sorting out the rorts.
This is the biggest spike in fuel prices that the world has ever seen. This obviously has implications, and the government is dealing with that.
Matthew Carstunen, 10 News.
To breaking news now, and a teenager has been rescued from the bottom of cliffs at Warriewood on the northern beaches. It's believed that he was sucked into a blowhole by a large swell at around 1:15 this afternoon before washing back up on the rocks. He suffered lacerations and a head injury and has now been winched to safety up the cliff face. He has been taken to Sydney Children's Hospital. Tonight, we are learning more about how a convicted child rapist escaped authorities, prompting a major search operation in Western Sydney. The 30-year-old has faced court after he was found to be staying in a granny flat surrounded by young families.
A detainee detained once again. Michael Angok cuffed and shoeless after almost 5 days on the run. The convicted child rapist facing court via video link today, charged with escaping immigration detention. The court hearing the 30-year-old had asked to go to the bathroom after being discharged from Bankstown Hospital to return to Villawood Detention Centre on Wednesday morning. It is there he broke away from escorting officers, fleeing on foot in handcuffs. Ultimately, it'd be his shoes that were his undoing, police locating them yesterday outside a granny flat in Seven Hills.
I saw police coming up and down the road here, and then they went over there and across the road.
Angok was arrested just streets away near Seven Hills train station. Though it's a relief, residents are still shocked he was hiding so close to home.
Like every parent, it's just scary. Our kids play in all the lawns, but there's always a parent present, but, you know, yeah, it's scary.
Police are now looking at how Michael Angok made the 31-kilometre journey from Bankstown Hospital to here in Seven Hills and whether he was assisted by members of the public. The prosecution this morning applying for his detention, a judge agreeing, formally refusing bail, noting there is an unacceptable risk that the defendant would fail to appear and it would endanger the victims and the community. His matter will return to court in June. Zoe Martin, 10 News.
Today marks the second anniversary of the Bondi Junction stabbing attack that killed 6 people and changed countless lives forever. It is a day to remember those who were lost, but also honour the courageous, everyday heroes who put themselves at risk to save others and have now been awarded bravery medals for their efforts.
2 years ago today, Mohammed Tahar clocked on for his shift at Westfield Bondi Junction. The security guard was patrolling level 4 with his colleague Faraz Tahir when a code black came through his radio.
The attacker jumped towards us in the crowd, tried to confront him, tackle him, but he managed to stab me.
Joel Cauchi had just begun his 6-minute stabbing rampage, attacking people at random inside the shopping centre. A schizophrenic, the 40-year-old killed 6 people that day and injured 10 others, including Mr. Tahar.
The one day that changed whole life, the memories and the things, they still haunt me.
Mohammed Tahar is one of 8 people to be awarded a bravery medal for his actions that day, alongside Silas Despero and Damien Garreau, who famously risked their lives to try and stop Cauchi by using a bollard. And of course, Detective Inspector Amy Scott, who took down and armed Joel Cauchi and is now facing a new battle.
Who is fighting breast cancer at the moment, and we wish her well with her treatment. She is a national hero.
A posthumous bravery medal was also given to Ashley Good, who saved her infant daughter when she thrust her into the arms of strangers after being fatally stabbed herself. And another was awarded to the late Faraz Tahir, who died on the job. Today, his family paid tribute to their hero.
My uncle was not just a family member. He was a role model, a man of respect, honest, kindness and deep courage. To me, he was one of the bravest person I've ever known.
Commendations were given to ICU nurse Catherine Mollahan, who performed vital CPR on victims in the centre, and Noel McLaughlin, who bravely confronted Cauchi before rushing to help his wife, Jade Young, who had been stabbed but couldn't be saved.
Every one of them showed strength and profound courage.
Floral tributes were laid inside the shopping centre as the Bondi Junction community paused to remember those who lost their lives and honour the brave, everyday heroes whose lives have never been the same.
I dedicate this award to all of them, my colleagues, the whole Australian people.
Taylor Ryan, 10 News.
There will be a major changing of the guard for Australia's Defence Force, with the current Chief of Navy, Mark Hammond, replacing retiring Admiral David Johnston. But that's not all. Susan Coyle will also step up as the new Chief of Army, the first woman to take on the role in Australia's history.
An historic moment as Lieutenant General Susan Coyle takes charge of the Australian Army.
As Susan said to me, you cannot be what you cannot see.
It has been a long journey integrating women into key roles within the Defence Force.
Over her nearly 4-decade career, she's commanded troops around the world, including the Middle East, and
she's also very adept in space and cyber.
It's a changing of the guard for Australia's defence leadership.
There is no greater honour than to wear our nation's uniform and serve our country in the Australian Defence Force.
Vice Admiral Mark Hammond has been promoted to the top job of leading the entire Defence Force. He joined the Navy 40 years ago.
He has literally gone from scrubbing decks to, in July, becoming the Chief of the Defence Force.
Replacing Admiral David Johnson, who's retiring after nearly 50 years in the Force.
The responsibilities of the position are not lost on me.
While Rear Admiral Matthew Buckley steps in as Chief of Navy. He's also a former submarine commander.
The appointment of 2 submariners into the top ranks of Australia's Defence Force sends a strong signal about the government's focus on AUKUS and modernising the ADF as the world deals with growing uncertainty.
I certainly look forward to serving with and for Australia's sailors, soldiers and aviators as their Chief of Defence Force through the challenging times ahead.
Hansel Dew, 10 News.
Let's get to sport now. Tara Rushton is here, and Tara, it looks like the Sea Eagles are flying high under Kieran Foran. Perhaps they have found their man.
I think so, Sandra. 2 wins on the bounce. The side is re-energised. So what is it about the interim coach that has the players buying in and backing him in for the full-time gig? In rarefied air, more reaction as Rory McIlroy joins the greats with back-to-back Masters wins. And a Goal of the Year contender has entered the chat. Fancy footwork and a Rabona for the ages. Put this Moroccan star on the map. We'll have his reaction and more ahead in sport.
Thanks, Tara. See you then. Stay with this. Still to come, a royal tour without the pageantry. Prince Harry and Meghan are about to arrive, so what are they doing down under? Some mid-air mayhem, a flight to Phuket forced to turn around after a disruption on board. You've got to be kidding me. The Easter show is over, so how did it fare? And the magical moment a majestic creature stepped by, or rather stopped by, a community up the coast.